How's it going, garden people? Welcome to the Hidden Gardens. It's mid-October here in my Zone 7 garden, so we're going to take a walkthrough of the front and side front yard garden spaces. Starting off here with this coleus and grass combo. Future self, repeat that, but cut the foliage back when you first plant it. But definitely a repeat reminder for next year. The black dragon cryptomeria are fabulous. I'm going to have to do some planting of those pretty soon here, but they do really well in pots, so that's good too. But I definitely enjoy those small trees. They're fantastic. These annual plantings, it's a bit of a miss this year. I'm not sure if it was because it was too dry. I definitely know it was because I didn't fertilize very much. So glance over those. This bed has been doing really well this year. It's really kind of starting to fill in. I definitely enjoy the little Miss Lemon Abelia. That one just great texture, great foliage, great plant. And this Tina Sargent crabapple is starting to get its berries, so that'll come into its own. I think over time it'll really kind of bush up and get more into like the lollipop shape. These are fairly young, fairly new planted plants, so we're going to give them a little time to kind of get acclimated to their surroundings, but they've been doing good so far, so we like that. The potato vine there, I do love that. I may repeat that next year, I'm not sure. If you can see on the ground there, I have some ajuga. I have a mix of chocolate chip and burgundy glow that I'm going to plant up pretty soon. Probably divide what's there as well, so that I have more plants, more bang for your buck situation. But I'm probably going to use those as like a border plant. Salvia is giving us a few late blooms. It was a bit of a weird salvia year in the garden. Hopefully next year will be a little bit better. This Laura petalum, we're going to really kind of cross our fingers and hope for the best. I really, really, really want those plants to work. And I've tried them in a few different places, but hopefully right here, this'll be the spot and they'll take in these spots, because I think it'll be really, really pretty, especially in contrast with this Miss Lemon Abelia, which, by the way, is unbelievably fantastic. Like, I love this plant so much. The colors that it gets, it's like all seasons changing color type of plant. It's so pretty. Dainty little pink flowers, adorable. Does have a few wayward type branches that spring up, so I'll probably just cut those back. But otherwise, the shape is really, really nice to it. Great plant. Midnight Sun Wigella at the bottom there. Beautiful red foliage. Again, with the salvia, it's just a bit of a rough year to come back. I think I cut them back too late and too long, so we'll see. I did add some sedum over here, as well as continued along with this plumbago river, and I think that that's going to be really, really pretty as it continues along. I love this little blue stem grass, just a great little grass. So, and it's getting some more weight around it since I divided it, so I'm glad that that's kind of springing up and springing back. This Dragon Prince Cryptomeria is doing well. Just a little bit of browning, but otherwise it seems to be taking really well. I think the spring planting for these seem to be just a little bit better, at least for me, keeping up in the watering, although I did just plant 2 recently, so hopefully those don't get too much browning over the winter. Otherwise, things in this bed, this area, seem to be going well. I was able to cage up the hollies to protect them from the bunnies. Again, the begonias, I believe those impatiens, sun patience, annual plant in those pots that I'll want to repeat next year. And we have a purple magic crepe myrtle, seems to have took in well to this spot. We'll see what it looks like next year in terms of blooms are concerned, and hopefully it'll give us some blooms. This is a bit of a shadier area, shadier spot over here, So we'll see how that goes. 9 bark, absolutely fantastic. I love this one. This is the summer wine, and it's super, super pretty. When the sun hits it just right, just lovely, absolutely lovely. Check out my shorts. I do post the plants up close with a little bit of music, and I try to catch them when they're like in bloom or whatnot. So that'll highlight that. This Ruby Tears crabapple is starting to get its crab-apples, and those are quite bigger than the Tina Sargent crab-apples. Not too big, but a good, bigger. And they'll be really pretty too. So everything's fairly young in this garden, but taking its hold. Patch of hellebores that I'll be looking forward to blooming. Coral bark Japanese maple that's doing its fall show. I love this tree. Fantastic. I've finally found the right spot for it in the garden. I love the spot that it's in. It gets about partial shade. And then it does get some full afternoon sun, but I think it gets just about enough shade and enough sun that it doesn't burn in that full afternoon sun. So I'm pretty pleased with its placing. I'm going to cut back the yellow twig dogwood come this spring, I think, and kind of hopefully give it like a regenerative cut. 9 bark that I just planted there, that looks pretty good. I think that's taking fairly well. Do have a little bit of spotting on the Gura. Oh, my accent doesn't like that name at all, but most of the plants took and have come back, except for, I think, 1 or 2. Same with the Artemisia, the silver mound. Almost every single plant took the transplanting and moving just fine, except for like 1 or 2 are kind of on the struggle bus. This baby blue spruce is fantastic. I love this view with the coral bark behind it. Absolutely love that view. I'm pretty pleased with all of the changes that I've made in the gardens, in these front areas, in the additions. I think that I'm trying to, while they're all separate beds, I'm also trying to go for a little bit of cohesion, as well as keep their independent look and kind of just make them all mesh together and make it all its own like room up here. Again, with this annual planting, I'm getting a little bit of blooms right now. I have to replace those pots now and get maybe some grasses in there. Here's the Dragon Prince Cryptomeria that I just planted. So let's hope that doesn't burn too much over the winter. I'm going to try my best to get out here and stay on top of the watering so it doesn't dry out, and maybe that'll help it. Got an abelia back there that I planted recently, or transplanted, and that seems to be taking and doing well, so I'm pretty pleased about that. Again, I did a little bit of transplanting in this area, so all the plants that I've kind of picked up, moved around and such, seem to be doing pretty well. So that's a little encouragement for all of you new gardeners that are very fearful of just picking plants up and moving them around. Just go for it. Fall's the best time, early spring are the best times, but as long as you stay on top of caring for things, usually the plants bounce back. There are finicky plants. I won't say all plants are going to be gung-ho to be moved around, but for the most part, you can kind of do things as you need to do them, not so much as the plants need you to do them. If you can align the stars, then fantastic. If not, then just go for it. Don't be scared. That was a big thing when I started, is I spent the money on this plant. I don't want to kill it. But at this point of my gardening journey, I've realized just go for it. You're the one that has to look at it. You're the one that has to enjoy it. If you want to move it, move it. If it survives, then high five. If not, it's either a new opportunity, but it's always going to be a learning opportunity. Take the moment to say happy Halloween to all of you that enjoy the holiday and celebrate it. I definitely like it. I love seeing all the fall colors that are not only around town and such, but that are starting to come into the garden. I'm really enjoying how much different plantings offer different things in different types of the seasons. The coral bark maple, for example, is not only that one's a 4-season plant because the beautiful spring lime green foliage that comes out, and during the summer it offers a really pretty canopy of foliage. Come the fall, it's got that brilliant yellow color, and then of course its big show in the winter with that deep red bark. Absolutely wonderful. I'm definitely going to work on the pathways come soon. I'm not sure how I'm going to tackle it, but I'm definitely going to redo grass in the pathways because it brings so much weight and just awesomeness to the gardens. It adds everything to the walkways. And this dogwood, red twig dogwood, it's variegated, so it's really, really pretty now. And I think we're going to get a really, really pretty show come the winter. I did move the Tradescantia grass, though I may move it again. We'll see. And of course, we've got the fall coloring on all the hardy hibiscus, so I'll come pretty soon here and just kind of clean up most of the leaves around the base of the hardy hibiscus, just so that I'm not overwintering any kind of like disease or pests or such. This Ruby Falls redbud is fantastic. I love it. Holds its color throughout the majority of the season in the full afternoon sun. Again, I'm in zone 7, but I also make sure that I'm protecting the roots and kind of keeping the roots shaded. It definitely likes that. It doesn't like its trunk and its feet being hanging out in the sun. So I think that goes a long way. I'm probably going to stake it up a little bit this winter. I think I'd like to have it a little bit higher and taller. But overall, I'm really, really enjoying what's going on in this whole front garden space. Again, the Artemisia, the silver mound, majority of it's taking along with the grasses. I was able to get out here and cage up the hollies. The rabbits will still have some things to eat over the winter because there is still some at like the base of these taller ones. And I did get a few berries, so high five to that. And come this next spring, I think I'll get so many more because I'll be protecting the pollinators at least enough that it'll flower and pollinate these other ones. And when they're pollinated, the berry production on these Castle Spire blue hollies are amazing. I mean, so many berries, beautiful. So this is a bit of an off year because the pollinators, if you've been following along, you know that the rabbits just got to it, and it's definitely rabbits. I have no doubts about it. The way that they're chewing it and the height that they're chewing at, it's definitely rabbits. So hopefully caging the hollies that I was able to will just give an edge, and eventually all of the hollies will start really kind of getting up to this height. So even these two I grew from little quartz. A majority of the plantings in all of my garden are all from small plants, so give time and patience and things do grow. These plants are just so pretty. I love those. I don't know if you can hear the airplane in the background, and the wind's definitely blowing today. It sounds like the waves, but I don't live that close to the ocean. It's definitely a few-minute drive. I do live on the Cape, but not that close to where I'm hearing waves. I do hear boats, however, in the summertime, I can hear the boat horns and such, which is a cool sound. Japanese holly, sky pencil, starting to get some good growth going on there. Mountain mint starting to do, it seems to have taken to its spot. Some new growth on this castle spire holly as well. So I think pretty much all these plants that I've planted recently seem to be taking. The beard tongue back there. The only thing that's a question is the obedient plant. We'll see if that one comes back in the spring, the Miss Manners. Just a note on the recording, I do use my iPhone. I have one of the settings on there where it like auto focuses. Seems to be on tours. That's not maybe the best setting to use, so I'm still kind of playing around with those type of things. So hopefully that's not too disruptive for you guys. So here is what I mean by the bulk of the leaf mess at the base of these hardy hibiscus. So like the season before this one, I had a lot of pest pressure on these plants. All the foliage was really quite holey. Last fall winter, I cleaned up what I could around the base of those plants, and it really went a long way. This past season I didn't have as much pest pressure, so I'm gonna definitely try to repeat that again, and kind of get control over those problem areas. So when it comes to like doing fall cleanup, I try to go for the problem areas, so that I'm not overwintering problems. Like around all the roses, I'll clean up all the rose foliage, so I'm not overwintering like black spot, that type of thing, and kind of go for the diseased or pest pressured areas and kind of get that out of the garden. But I'm still trying to leave things for nature, like, you know, the whole leave the leaves situation and all that. So here is another tree I'm probably going to stake up throughout the winter and kind of try and get a little bit more height on this Snow Fountains cherry tree. It's a weeping kind. It's beautiful, beautiful white flowers in the springtime. Stunner. So I do want a little bit more height on it, I think. But really pleased with this plant. Again, took me a little while to find the right spot for it in the garden, but once I did, I'm just adoring it. New growth coming along on these Dragon Prince Cryptomerias, so I'm glad that I held them in, I kept them in, and I think that over time I'll get some more of that browning out of there, and those plants will do well. I have such great confidence that they'll overcome their winter situation, and will do just fine. So I'm pretty pleased with how things are overcoming, given time and patience in the garden. Royal purple smoke tree that I'll be looking to tackle as well come the late winter, early spring in terms of shaping up. But very pretty. I definitely enjoy the foliage on that, the pink margins. I'll be going after this butterfly bicolor as well, this Japanese holly glow pop. Yeah, I think so. It seems to have taken well. So I'm really glad that that's gonna do its thing, and I'll have some nice evergreen interest. Again, the bicolor on this butterfly bush, the like orange pinkish to purplish on the tips, really pretty. It's interesting too because this one got really tall and huge, whereas the summer skies next to it didn't get as big this season. So it'll be interesting come the spring next season in terms of how I want to approach trimming, because I do want a little bit more height on the Summer Skies, the variegated one off to the left, when I pull up a little bit more. But that bicolor one, I don't want to go too high. I think the height it's at is just at the top that I really kind of want to let it get. A little bit of yellowing on this Japanese holly sky pencil. We'll kind of watch that. We did get just a bunch of rain recently, so everything in the garden is finally like, yay, drink, but also, whoa, I'm drowning. So hopefully the weather will kind of even itself out a little bit, especially this winter. Hopefully it won't be too dry. Another plant that I'll be going after in terms of shaping, but it's really shaping up nicely, is this Heptacodium 7 Sunflower Temple of Bloom. Fantastic. I love this tree. Over time, I think that it'll be even prettier once I get some height on it and get it up there. Right now it's more a shrub form type situation, so I gotta kind of stay on it. But this beautyberry I planted recently. It sat in a pot for a while. It was in the garden previous. It sat in a pot for a while, and now I finally put it into the ground. So I did get a few little berries. I'll give it a nice rejuvenation cut back all the way to the ground in the spring. Well, about six inches or so above the ground. And I think that'll bounce back and be really pretty next season. So I'll look forward to that. Again, the butterfly bush that we just talked about, and this grass. I'm not sure what I want to do with this grass come the spring. I do like it, and I like its coloring, but I don't like how this one flopped. A little bit of troubleshooting there. But again, this other Tina Sargent crabapple doing its thing. I'll certainly be looking for things to kind of bulk up and really start to grow and get and perform, I think is the word I'm looking for, come this next season. Dragon Prince Cryptomeria right there, which is older than all the other ones that I've planted, and as you can see, does like the garden. So I really, really enjoy that plant. More salvia right here, and another loropetalum that we're just, please do good, cross your fingers for it. Let's hope that it survives the winter and does well. And this blue wonder catmint is starting to get its sizing going on. I think next season again it'll perform and do well. I think next season's going to be a really, really good season in the garden for a lot of the things that I've planted recently, as well as it's coming about time for plants that I've planted previously that are like ready to do it, do a really good showing. We'll look forward to this forsythia. It's the little small one. Show off starlet, I think. I'm not sure. It's the small one, and I think that'll be a really, really pretty early show in the spring. Just small enough. I'm not a big fan of yellow color, so the little one I think will be pretty. So I have added a few plants and transplanted a few things. I still have some more to do for this fall, especially for this front yard Wonderland garden is what I like to call it. This little front entryway is the Wonderland space. Now on to the front side yard, yet to be named in terms of coming up with names for the garden. I do like doing that, but coming up with ones that fit right is a little bit of a longer process than I thought it'd be. But that's okay. We've got some salvia that I planted recently. I definitely caged up again the blue holly, the castle spire. These Celtic Pride cypress seem to be doing okay. They're a little bit yellowish right now. I'm not sure if that's the deluge of rain that we got recently, but I think that they're going to be all right. Here's an oopsie mistake. I think that the Totally Stokes aster, it's the white one, I think white caps, I'm not sure, is just a little bit too close to that, I think it's Snow Spires salvia. So I'm probably going to move it back just a little bit, just so that it's not, right up on top of it. This Gatsby Moon oak leaf hydrangea is starting to get its fall coloring. It'll get like a deeper red, really, really pretty. So I'm pretty pleased with how that's growing as well. I'll probably limb up the bottom just a bit, just so that it kind of gives a little bit of airflow underneath. But I am looking for height on this plant. And again, the Artemisia seems to be taking okay-ish over here. We'll see again how things come out next spring. This grass is fantastic. I definitely enjoy it. It does well in the pots, so I'm glad about that. I'll probably keep it here. We'll see. The addition of the solar lights to this shed, I do kind of wish that they were motion sensor, and I'll eventually look for something a little bit better, but almost like they were supposed to be with the shed. They weren't, but they fit perfectly there. As you can see, the barrel of rain right there, so I'll empty that. This weeping Coosa dogwood I recently planted in a video, and again with the staking, so all of my ornamental trees I do like to shape and stake the way that I want them to go, and hopefully eventually I'll take the stakes out and everything will kind of go along where and fill in where I need and want. And we're going to hope that it plays nicely with these Norway weeping spruce. What I'm kind of thinking for this area though is to shape up that evergreen Norway up above the hydrangeas, above that little blue cloak fir in the middle, the little blue tree, and just kind of make it meet the other Norway weeping spruce, so it's like a little evergreen tunnel above the really tall hydrangeas. I don't know if that'll work, but it would be cool to try and see if I could. I also do kind of have an earmarking for, I do want an upright tree there. I'm kind of thinking maybe another crepe myrtle, not sure, but I do kind of think I might plant, I have 2 boxwoods and an osmanthus that needs a home, and I think this might be their home, but I'll have to move that salvia that of course I just transplanted there. So that's gardening though, right? Can't say enough great things about this berry white hydrangea. It's a panicle hydrangea. So pretty, super pretty. The coloring on the blooms are much more saturated than some of the other panicles that are around it. Super pretty. Love this plant. If you happen to see it and you have a place for it, grab it up. There's the mop butterfly right there. So I'll be looking for spring to see kind of how that forms and does right there. I think that'll be a good spot for it. We'll see though. Zinnias. I don't think zinnias in the front area here. I think it gets too harsh of the afternoon sun. I don't think it likes it. This Dusty Miller, however, I'm definitely going to add a few seeds of this to the seed starting schedule, because I think right in these front little beds here, I think I want to grow more of the Dusty Miller so that it kind of caps off this edge of the raised beds here. I think that'll be really pretty. I have some peonies in those pots that I think they're alive. I'm not sure. I'll dig them up and plant them possibly in these raised bed gardens, in these raised beds here. I'm not too sure. So the zinnias, I think the back garden is definitely the better place to be growing zinnias. I have all the floret ones out back, and they seem to do a lot better out back. Snapdragons, however, absolutely fantastic up here. So I'll definitely be looking to repeat some snapdragons next year. Fantastic little plant. Good early plant during the summer. Not as many blooms because I think it's too hot, but the foliage itself was fine. So really a good annual cut flower there. I like the snapdragons. If you're new to growing cut flowers, throw some snapdragons in. You won't regret that. The roses, this one is really, really pretty. I don't know the name off the top of my head. I have quite a bit of David Austin roses, a few others, but I'm still trying to get my rosarian hands, so to speak. So I'm definitely new to growing roses, and they're finicky and a pain. So I want to make sure that I'm more confident before I just start showing you guys. I'm dealing with the black spot and stuff, so I'm going to clean it all up, and we'll see how things go next season now that they're in some pots, and I'll get, some more things situated. But everything else is going along as it goes. Again, more of the caged blue holly, so hopefully I can get those to get big enough where they're doing their thing and the rabbits can eat underneath, and that's fine. We'll kind of see how things go. Flamethrower redbud right here that I planted. I cannot wait until spring to see how this one comes out and gets going. Again with the staking, but otherwise pretty excited about how things are moving along in these front yard gardens. And the things that I've gotten planted, the decisions that I've finally made. These little dwarf stock were really quite cool. I've no such luck with stock plants, but these ones I was able to get germinated and going. So I'm probably going to try and repeat those again when it comes time to starting seeds. And I'll do some more cleaning up of these raised beds up here. I'm currently cleaning up the raised beds in the back garden, as well as the greenhouse. I'll have that video up coming soon. A couple of good fun things to look forward to. I garden all year round. The zone 7 that I'm in does help with that factor because I'm not completely caked in with snow throughout the whole winter season. So I do have some leeway where that's concerned, though when it's cold and I'm inside. But I definitely do try to garden all year round in terms of starting seeds, going inside, doing those things. I've definitely found throughout my journey that the gardening season goes through its seasons itself. You've got your prime planting times, and then your maintenance times, and then your preparation times. It's all a continuous circle of prepping, planning, planting, executing, so on and so forth. Another video that I'll probably plan soon is to kind of go through the dog yard area, all the plants, because that's definitely evolved. So if you're new here and you've made it this far, I hope you'll consider subscribing. It does help me out. It helps the channel out. Hopefully I can get out into the garden a lot more. Like this video if you liked it. Give me a little bit of encouragement. And to all the returning viewers, I definitely appreciate you. And I hope that this video inspires you to continue along on your gardening journey, whatever that looks like for you. And thank you for coming along on mine.